If you've been playing DBD recently, you may have noticed yourself playing against significantly more Bubbas than usual, and it's no coincidence. While it may be a dream come true for some to play against more Bubbas, the overarching reason for this influx is far more sinister. In fact, this, alongside a few other factors which I'll be discussing in this video, have the potential to begin the downfall of DBD, and in an alarmingly short space of time too. It's important to clarify that I'm not saying DBD is a not alive game, or that the game is already on the decline, but the possibility of it happening soon is very real. So, if you're already heavily invested in the DBD community, then you may have heard that we will soon be losing the license to Bubba, just as we did with the Unusual Things license, which of course means that, just like the Unusual Things DLC, Bubba will no longer be available for purchase. The reason for this is due to the Texas Saw game being released soon. As Bubba is the main attraction to that franchise, they're removing DBD's license in order to eliminate the competition when it comes to people getting their dose of Bubba. In response to this news, many players who didn't already own him are now buying him before he's gone, potentially forever. Of course, it doesn't take a genius to realize that losing licenses to sell DLC is a bad thing, but the ripple effects this causes brings on much more issues than you'd think. Each DLC is a resource for DBD to make money, and each DLC license lost is a revenue stream lost. With the possibility of losing licenses becoming an ever more present threat for behavior, alongside the huge amount of money it costs for them to buy these licenses, there is increased likelihood that this will be taken into account when obtaining new licenses and developing new DLCs. This could possibly result in less development time and money invested into licensed chapters in the future, which would of course mean a worse experience for the player base. While I say that's a possibility, I don't expect that to be likely, as the money earned from selling these DLCs for only a few months probably pays for all these fees and leans well into the profit area. So if they end up losing the licenses years later, they already paid for themselves, so it was a worthwhile business venture. What is likely is you not being subscribed, as over 84% of people watching this aren't subbed, so if you enjoy, be sure to do so. So if I don't think that's the problem, what is the real threat? The era we're in right now is a weird time for licenses, franchises, etc. In the era of multiverses and license crossovers, it seems that every fictional world is being bled dry for all possible money it could earn via expanding into other forms of entertainment, and increasingly, we are seeing well-known horror brands expanding into the video game market. In a matter of months, we've already seen Ash and the Evil Not Alive franchise get its own game, and now Bubba too, and it's very likely that we'll be seeing other horror franchises joining them soon. But speaking of Ash, he is still in DBD completely untouched with no issues whatsoever, as they did not revoke Behavior's license to have him in DBD. While I think we're almost guaranteed to see more of these franchises release their own games soon, what we don't know is whether or not they will renew Behavior's licenses or revoke them. While it's possible they can stay in DBD as DLCs with no problems like Ash, I think it's more likely we'll see them going, just like Unusual Things and Bubba, as it makes sense for them to want to bring down the competition. It just helps their game do better. For each license DBD loses, not only is that a revenue stream they lose, but overall interest in the game too. If it loses enough, it will go from that game where you get to play as and against some of the most infamous villains in horror history, to that game where sometimes, if you're lucky, if you're against a long-time player, you might get the chance to play exclusively against these villains, which is a much less appealing description. That means not only will they lose opportunities to make money, but they'll have less people interested in spending money on the streams that are available. Less interest means less players, which means less profits, etc, etc, which can snowball into making it a not alive game. While everything I've just discussed is a very real possibility, it's not guaranteed. Behavior could keep most or even all of the licenses they still have now and everything will be fine. Or even if they do lose them, we have to wait and see what happens in the future to see which franchises do or don't make their own games and so on. But that is just one factor. What else could combine with this to create the previously mentioned perfect storm? Some of you may be aware of the new YouTube age restriction and the monetization changes that are controversial to say the least. While the changes are supposedly mostly aimed to keeping the first 15 seconds of a video free of swear words, violence, etc., what's actually happening is that people are getting demonetized and or age restricted en masse for some of the most ridiculous reasons. Whether that be swearing too much at any point in the video, showing violent video games in the video, or even saying certain words that are perfectly family friendly but are unsuitable for advertisers. You might have noticed that not once in this video have I said DBD's proper name, or I've been avoiding saying the proper names of Bubba, Gordon or Ash's franchises. Those weren't attempts at being funny or quirky, it's because these new YouTube rules have proven absolutely brutal for DBD content creators. Considering the entire game is based on horror themes and the unsettling subgenres of horror, DBD as an entire subject has become a game of minesweeper almost overnight when it comes to YouTube. Show one wrong Mori or say one word that YouTube doesn't like and all of your work goes down the drain. Not only are creators starting to go unpaid for their work, but if it's age restricted, then it goes unseen too, as it won't get promoted on the algorithm. But DBD YouTubers don't make the game, so how is that in any way relevant to DBD itself? As with any game, having hype, interest and relevance on YouTube brings in new players and helps retain the interest of existing players. But this affects DBD far more than most other games out there, and that's due to the overall culture and community that's built up around it. Even in a dev stream back somewhere around 2017 to 2018, the devs themselves referred to the game as a streamer's game. While YouTube isn't as much of a titan in the streaming space compared to Twitch, the statement holds true for video content as well. Views on YouTube are what bring in views on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Ardetha, live Monday to Thursday by the way, and these devastating YouTube changes will undoubtedly bleed over to Twitch, if not immediately then over time. Unless the new rules are relaxed or people find consistent ways to keep their videos from getting restricted, we might find ourselves seeing our favorite creators deem making DBD videos as unsustainable and moving entirely to Twitch or outright quitting. If DBD loses its relevancy in the wider internet culture, it will lose a lot of its steam in terms of players too. I mean, we're at the point now where the official DBD channel might end up finding its future DLC trailers getting restricted, and then its ability to even let people know there's a new DLC would end up being severely limited too. And this issue is far more immediate as it has already happened. I'm sure you might have seen your favourite creators even talking about how it has affected them. These two different factors, if combined, could very well lead to a swift downfall into irrelevancy for DBD. Maybe if we're lucky we'll find a video mode alongside streamer mode in the game settings that censors hooks and moris and disables that red liquid that comes out of survivors when they're hit. Once again, I'm not saying the game is already on its way out, but these factors could well bring the end of DBD. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. If you have any other things you'd like me to discuss in a similar style to this video, be sure to let me know. You can catch me live on twitch.tv/Ardetha, where I'm live every Monday to Thursday at 12 PM UK time. See you there.